All right, welcome everyone. Let's do the roll call. And we got Christina, who's first in the chat today. And we got working this morning, but we'll be checking in at time. So I'm sure Christina is working right now. And we got April Watson, who is from Tampa, and stay safe in all of your travels, especially as for those of us who are going to Minneapolis for celebration or off track or whatever you're doing. That would be fantastic. And we got Andre Staley. What up, though? We got Drea Dances. On my way to my niece's high school graduation, so I catch the replay. I went to my cousin slash niece slash daughter, a very special person's graduation last week, so I totally understand. And we got Rockabosh in the house. Yes. So I was meaning to reach out to Duane because Duane is co-writing Eric Leeds' book with him, and I forgot to do that to see when is the ETA. But as you know, I am very, very, very excited about this Things Left Unsaid book, making music with Prince. And we want to welcome the one and only, there will never be another, Big Sexy. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great. Can you hear me? I had to change my mic out and my camera. I just got it set up.
Yeah, you look fantastic and you sound fantastic. Yes. So I saw yeah, go ahead, Celie.
Got this Big Poppy look going on. Got the Big Poppy, the David Ortiz look going on. Like an MLB All-Star coming up in. King Jr.
Got to.
Oh my God. And we got Love Sexy. Love Sexy. And I have my Love Sexy button today. And yes, Big Sexy is in the house. And we got Purple Cat Confetti from Denver. We got our timekeeper. We got Theo. We got Sister Charles from H-Town. We got Heavenly Gaines. We have Mila My Heart. We have, let's see, we got TP Libra with Happy Saturday. Man, I need to get some new glasses. We got Lisa Williams. Happy Saturday. It's a beautiful day in H-Town. Hope you're all doing well. We got Nick Felden. Good morning from Denver. This week, back in 1986, MTV added the Mountains video to its rotation. That is fantastic news. Thanks for sharing. We got Chanel. Hey, Pepper Peeps, we're so happy that you're here in community today. And I think I said hello to Lori Johnson, but if not, welcome, Lori. And I am only going to be with you for a hot second, but I got to say welcome to JD Washington. And we got to say hello to Dorothy Edwards and Mooches with Vanity. And Rockabosh is talking about Big Sexy's Killer Les Paul axe. And we got Boombox Guru in the house and all of that. So I just came by to say hello because unfortunately, or actually fortunately, can't say unfortunately because family is important.
Right.
I got family in the house, so I have to go and spend time with family. So I'm so grateful that Celie and Big Sexy are going to hold it down for me this week, and I'm going to let you guys take it away.
But before you go, we always say thank you for curating this community, and thank you for all that you do, the work with the slideshow. But last week and I already had respect for you, but last week, and thank God Big Sexy was here because I'd never been so terrified that I was gonna hit the wrong button and blow Ish up. Like I was like, I clicked. What did Prince do this week no longer exists anywhere on YouTube. Anyway, ABC, Celie hit the wrong button. But the way that you, and then I have to give shout out to Brother Dean and just content creators, but specifically for this show, I don't think people know how many moving parts are going on behind this. And for somebody to say, here, don't turn into the Titanic. I just need you to know that I always had a big respect for you, but I got an even bigger respect for you. But I'm gonna give you a little tease before you go. You know I'm working on a project that you've been helping with me every week.
Yes.
I got something on that project is specifically related to something you did, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Oh wow. Okay.
So there's a new y'all get something new every Monday. One of those things. I'm remember when Prince called Neil Sean and said, "Hey, does this sound too much like you're gonna be getting the email Monday?"
Okay.
I'm Prince and you Neil Sean.
Okay. You mean
So-
Neil Carlin?
No.
Neil Sean
Neil
from
Sean, Journey.
Neil. Yes.
Yeah, remember the Purple Rain faithfully?
Yes.
So one of the things you're gonna get Monday is gonna have a little, hey, is this too much like something you did?
I see.
So, but thank you so much, and I'm gonna let you say bye to the people. But but again, newfound. I'm gonna try not to touch something that implodes the channel. So let you talk to the people before you go.
All right. Well, I missed being with you guys last week, but right now I'm in family mode and I got to prioritize family sometimes. And so I hope you respect that. But obviously, you are in my hearts. I worked on the slideshow. I'm really excited about the photos of this week. And I have a slide that says if you actually know the photographer, it would be really great to credit the photographer. It may or may not be Jeff Cass, but I'm not quite sure because they're concert shots. So if anybody knows like D68A, that would be really fantastic. Oh, and speaking of D68A, oh no, rest in peace to Rob Bass.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Thank you for letting me know.
Yeah. That's a song that I actually, and I know it sounds crazy, that's a song that I actually saw before I heard.
Mm-hmm.
I was like you in your car, you at the stoplight, and I'm listening because I'm listening to Prince. And I looked beside me, and there was a girl beside me. I mean, she was. We had to stop like, but she was. And I'm like, what in the is she listening? Like, we've all seen people car dance,
Yes.
She wasn't car dancing. She was on a dance floor somewhere in Mississippi. And so I was like, so I rolled down I paused my music and rolled down my window, and it was It Takes Two. That was my first time hearing It Takes Two. So yes, rest in peace to Rob Bass and to the wonderful legacy, because that song beat up the dance floor that summer, if y'all don't know.
Yeah, it did.
Kim said that was me.
I believe you.
And Dorothy Ever says also sounds like me. That is hilarious. All right. Well, I am going to let you two have it again. I'm so grateful. I miss you guys, but you're in good hands with Celie and Big Sexy. Oh, by the way, Big Sexy, my mama watched last week and she said that you had the best voice ever.
He got that. What a quiet storm. He got that quiet storm, boy.
Yes.
He's coming in hot with the quiet storm.
When you tell Mom, I said thank you.
I will.
Putting a little hot sauce on it. and Proctor, tell Mama I'm jealous. That's all I'm gonna say. Because you and her supposed to be going to the mansion in Memphis.
Oh yes.
So tell Mama I'm jealous. That
I will.
Big Sexy got the shout out. But we're still going to the mansion in Memphis.
Yes, you would love that. We got to do it one year for sure. All right, I'm out of.
Take care.
Bye.
Good. Hold on, let me do this. Sister Zakia, I will tell you this, Sister Zakia. Because I don't like to hype stuff up. I will say though that the project on which I'm working, which I hope comes out sometimes in late 2027. Ooh, how can I say without overhyping it?
Do it.
It will be something that I think everybody who comes here regularly will find interesting. Let me put it that way. So if you regularly come to What Did Prince Do This Week, I think that the project that I'm planning to release at the end of 27 is something that all of you guys will find interesting. I'm not saying you'll like it. I'm not saying it'll be great, but I do think that it'll be something that you guys will find interesting. And I'll put a pin on it there. Now, Big Sexy, good morning to you. We're gonna get into our things, but I just want to say good morning and see if any salutations or greetings you have before we get into.
I want to say one thing first. I want to say one thing first before we get rolling, and I'm going to get a little heavy for a moment. Over in the Michael Dean universe, over where we do podcast on Prince and other things, in our chat last night, one of our co-hosts expressed he was going through some medical issues. I'm not going to get into what they are, but we just want to shout out my man Q Storm right now and say, hope you feel better, brother. You know, because Q and I always get at each other all the time.
Yes.
But you know this is much more serious.
Yes.
So I hope he recovers well, and I look forward to catching up with him down the road.
Feel the purple love, brother. We send out that purple love. Thank you for bringing that up, and everybody gonna keep him in our prayers and our thoughts, brother. Thank you for that. We had a couple more people come in. I want to make sure we get everybody. Sister Web Diva, welcome. El Michelle, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. I think Blade Brown, I think so. So Prof Duff missed her illiterate brother, Blade Brown, right? And so I think that's everybody. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Sister Mila. I appreciate that. And thank you to Sisters Kids. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get into the slides. And so as Prof Duff does every week, we know that we are living in interesting times. We're living in challenging times. But I want to say to everybody that, of course, Prof Duff is always sending out love, Big Sexy, Brother Dean, Brother Turnbull, everybody who's associated, everybody in the chat. We're sending out love to people who are around, not just in America, but around the globe struggling. But we know we're going to get through this. We know that no matter how difficult it is, right, it only lasts for a night, and joy surely will come in the morning. Welcome to week 22 of 1986. And what did Prince do this week, week 22, 1986? Every Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern, and Big Sexy, you know, I'm still one of the people, I don't live on the Eastern time frame, so every now and then I always miss stuff because I'm in the Central time frame, so time zone. So, but yeah, every Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern. If you want to find us, we're at bookclub.polysolid.com. The schedule lets us know what you're doing, what we're doing every week. This is a very slow read of Brother Tudahl's. Hold on, make sure all right, I want to make sure. Brother Tudahl's. There we go. Let me make sure. There we go. Brother Tudahl's book, wonderful book, his second book, his Prince Studio Sessions book series, doing interactive weekly online book club and Saturday salon, echoing the spirit of the Harlem Renaissance. What did Prince do this week? We're going week to week, not day to day. So we're going Sunday to Saturday of 1986, not date to date. As Prof Duff said, maybe everybody will catch up with that. It took me a minute to catch on to how we were doing that. This is to let you know where we are. So we're week 22 schedule. If you want to know the week 22 schedule, just get the schedule in general. There's a QR code. Scan that QR code. It's at bit.ly link, Prince Book Club. Today we're going to be discussing May 26, 1986 through Friday, May 30th, 1986. All right. And again, what did Prince do this week? You do not need the paperback, right? But you know, that's the one with a little extra. But if you got the hardback or the paperback, it doesn't matter. You know, audio book, whatever you want to get. Matter of fact, if you want to run down Brother Tudahl and have him read it to you, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't. Please don't roll up on Brother Tudahl and have him. You know, that brother got enough work going on. Don't be hunting the brother down. But we thank him for this. But like I said, either one of the versions that you have will work. And again, we want you to like and subscribe, get that algorithm going. For those of you, you can also let folks know that if they miss each weekly stream will be archived at youtube.com polysolid and youtube.com mdean. So either way, you'll be able to catch us on both. Shout out to Podcast Juice. if you want to get at us, because we're getting ready to discuss the Hit and Run tour for the Parade album. And so if you attended any of those shows, we want you to come on. Big Sexy, he came on. He told us about the Purple Rain show. He also was able to give us some more insight on the Wiltern Theatre when we discussed last week. So if you saw any of the Parade shows or the Hit and Run shows, email us at wdpdtw, which is what did Prince do this week, @gmail.com. Let us know. We want you to come on. We want you to come on. And if you can't come on, if you're a little shy, I don't believe you shy. But if you feel like you're a little shy, you can send in something. You can send in tickets. You can send in photographs. Anything that you had about you seeing one of those shows on the tour. And of course, we have to say that the estate of Prince Rogers Nelson is not affiliated, associated, or connected with the What Did Prince Do This Week book club series, nor has it endorsed or sponsored the What Did Prince Do This Week book club series. Further, the estate of Prince Rogers Nelson has not licensed any of his intellectual property to the producers, advertisers, or directors of What Did Prince Do This Week book club series. And we want to give a shout out to the estate because we know you guys, hey man, we know you guys are doing yeoman's work. It's a lot of work to do over there. We have complaints, we have issues, we have problems, but at the end of the day, we want to thank the people, Attorney Lundell, and all of the folks over there who are stewarding the ship, right? Community guidelines. Look, y'all, we choose to be a community even though we disagree. I know I say this. I know y'all get tired of me saying this, but Prince thought that human beings were pie charts with many slices. And he was one of the rare artists who explored every slice of his pie chart to inspire us to explore every slice of our pie chart. Well, how does that relate? Well, some of us come to Prince through the funk slice, some through the rock, some through the blues, some through the fashion, some through the politics. It's all good. So if someone says that they like something, that doesn't mean that they're not down with what you and you like. Or you may be digging something that somebody else may not like. That's cool. The great thing about the artistry and legacy of Prince is that it's a big tent, it's a big pie chart, and everybody can get a slice, and we not hating on each other. Whatever slice they like, Big Sexy, if they like Arms of Orion, I love it for them, right? If they like Purple and Gold, I love it for them. So we gonna love on each other.
Flag on the play. I don't know about that one.
You know what? Here's the only thing I'll say about that's funny about Purple and Gold is that what people I think missed about that, and see, you and I are old enough to remember when sports teams actually had theme songs, when they actually had songs. He wrote that. He wasn't trying to write a hit, and I guess people thought, but so, and I think, and again, that's not gonna make people like Purple and Gold, but I think that people didn't understand that he was trying to write one of those traditional sports songs, right? And not a banger. All right. So
let's go ahead and place the blame of that squarely on the '85 Chicago Bears.
Yes.
They came out with the Super Bowl shuffle and then won the Super Bowl.
That's it.
And everybody was like, we got to do one now. Like, okay.
They came out with a real banger. Right,
Yes.
Everybody else's was, because I tell people, go listen to everybody else's songs. Theme. It's kind of like your college alma mater. I always tell people the only reason your alma mater is beautiful for you because it's your alma mater. Because all those songs sound the same. Like people are like, oh, my college alma mater. No, it's not. Your college alma mater is not any different. They're all old. No, they're not dirges, but they all sound like old dirges, right? But I love, and so that's how traditionally these sports, and they're not theme songs. I can't think of the actual proper name. If it pops up for you, Big Sex, let me know.
Song?
Fight song. That's it. Thank you. The fight song. So every sports team, and you have to understand, these fight songs go back to the damn 20s. So how do you think these fight songs gonna sound? They going back to the 20s, and that's what Prince. Unfortunately, he wasn't trying to make. He probably should have tried to make a Super Bowl shuffle, but instead of trying to make a Super Bowl shuffle, he tried to make a 1920s regular sports song. All right? So then here we go. What did Prince do this week? What do we know? Thanks, brother Anil. This is week hashtag. This is the 174th episode. Man, Y'all been putting in the work. And this is week 22 of 1986. For this week, we're going to discuss 4 studio sessions, and we're going to discuss 1 new song. Prince had 1 live concert and 1 live appearance, right? So we see down here the 25th through the 31st. So on the 26th, Pride and the Passion instrumental with some studio work. And then we had more the next day, Pride and the Passion. We had vocals and mix. And then we also had Paradise Gardens with some studio work. And then, of course, Prince attended the 13th Annual ASCAP Awards. Also did more work on Pride and Passion and Wonderful Ass. You got a wonderful. Okay, there we go. That's Big T. That's one of my favorite bootlegs, Big Sex. I used to really get on that bootleg. And then we got some more work on Pride and the Passion. And then we have Prince's performance at the Wiltern Theatre. Am I pronouncing it right? Wiltern?
Yeah, Wiltern. Yeah.
Okay. So
Wiltern.
The Wiltern Theatre. And then on the 31st, we have Nothing. And as Brother Dean said, that's the other book. And so what we're going to do is we're going to get into some reading. But before we get into some reading, Big Sex, I want to ask you a question. And you don't have to give me the whole spiel, but just kind of, because I don't know this. And so I'm just going to ask if you could give us briefly, what's your Prince origin story? Like, I never have heard your Prince, or maybe you, but so what's your Prince origin story? Then we'll get into this week's reading.
Yeah, honestly, it's funny you would ask me that because I was just thinking about it a moment ago. Way back in the Stone Age, in like 1979, 78 actually, I'd go to these Berkeley house parties and I would hear this song, Soft and Wet. I'm like, okay, this is okay. I didn't know who it was, had no idea. And then in 79, on cable access, Oakland, there was no MTV, there was no VH1, no Friday Night Videos, none of that. But this little cable access station in Oakland called Soul Beat. And if you're from Oakland, you know what I'm talking about. They would play videos of everybody. They would play Prince. They would play early Climax. They played Desmond Child's first band. And it didn't matter what genre, but they were playing it. And so I see Prince in the baby blue dolphin shorts with the Carol Brady hairdo. I'm like, the hell is this? And my sister just loved it. And I'm talking until he gets to why you want to treat me so bad. I'm like, okay, I can roll with this. This I can get down with. And then as time goes by, then Dirty Mind hits. And I was like 16 at the time. When Dirty Mind hit, all the little underage discos, oh man, Head. It was all about Head. You know, there was no social media, so we didn't know that the time was also him. Right. You know, and if you listen to the stick now, clearly it's Prince. Right. Clearly. But back then you don't know. Right. And so that got me into it. I knew there was interconnections there because both albums were produced by Jamie Starr. There you go. I'm like, okay, I'm in this. And then Controversy, and then of course 1999 blew up. When 1999 hit, I'm a little older, and I said it before, I'll say it again, I'm not the best dancer. However, when Little Red Corvette hit, I had that step. I had that step down. Couldn't tell me, you know. And from that moment on, I drank the Kool-Aid. I was in the whole way. And again, a true artist will challenge his audience. Right. And so what Prince would do, you know, he comes out with Purple Rain. I'm like, yeah. And he went left with Around the World in a Day. Right. I'm like, where's he going here? And then he went left again with Parade. And then he went left again with Sign of the Times. There you go. I'm like, okay, let's take the ride. Let's take the ride. Because anybody could do like a Purple Rain Part 2, or like if I was to say Springsteen, you know, Dance in the Dark remix. Nah, you just keep going and you go where the music takes you. And I like that. And for me, that's my thing, and that's my dude. When I saw him, you know, at the Purple Rain tour, and they did America unannounced, that blew me away.
Right.
I'm like, whoa, what is this? You know, and I'm all into it. And like I said, drank the Kool-Aid, and I've been down with it ever since.
There you go. There we go. Well, I you know what? When you say take the ride, I'm glad Sister Nakia put that up. Take the ride. Thank you, because I was thinking about that, because that's perfect for where we now are in the history of Prince in '86. So what I'll do is I'll read Monday, and then I'll let you read Tuesday, and then we will alternate back and forth, good people. So Monday, May 26, 1986, Pride and the Passion instrumental tracking mix, Sunset Sound Studio 3, 9:30 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. So all night, right? Booked open. Producer Prince, artist Sheila E., engineer Coke Johnson. This is open with a quote from Susan Rogers, said that Prince would talk with the drums. All right. So thank you, Susan Rogers. Work continued on Sheila's album, and with Prince in town for his San Francisco concert, he quickly wrote Pride and the Passion for her album, the title likely based on the 1957 movie, The Pride and the Passion, which starred Cary Grant. Jute. Right, so some of y'all ain't old enough to understand, but that jute. Right? So as Michael Dean said, do your Googles on that Cary Grant. All right. Frank Sinatra and Sophia. Oh wow, Frank Sinatra and Sophia Loren. I forgot that. They put all the star power in that movie.
Yeah, they did.
The song is about a woman who is intrigued by a man who had everything she was looking for, including a great smile and cash, and how, there you go, and how he seduced her, and the mystery behind what they done when they were alone. It's likely that Sheila influenced the track in some way, but it is unclear the elements she added to the composition. The song was registered as being written by both of them, but when the album was released, the song is credited solely to her. Crediting others on tracks that he wrote was something Prince did with great frequency, explains David Z. Quote, I think it was because he didn't think people wanted to see his name doing everything, so he was trying to spread the pie, like that word pie, and cultivate his army. That's what he wanted. He wanted his team to come and do everything, and I guess that's why he spread the credits around, end quote. Sheila discussed the range of Prince's songwriting in 2018, quote, no one or two songs are the same. I mean, for an artist to be able to write different genres of music and then musically not sound the same, you can tell that it's Prince, but he didn't write the same way all the time. It was always different ways and approaching music, end quote. Over the last 5 years, he used the Linn drum machine on the majority of his tracks. He would often add his own embellishments, but his drum sounds were almost always the basis for his groove. So his respect for them was obvious. Over the last year, he jammed with many drummers, including the Revolution's Bobby Z, H.B. Bennett, Jonathan Melvoin, and Sheila E., and he apparently enjoyed comparing techniques and styles with some of them. Quote, and this is a Bobby Z quote, just about any drummer was discussed and analyzed. That was really fun because he loved music and he loved to talk. It was fun to talk drums with him, for sure, end quote. David Herman remembers, quote, Prince said, we're going to have a talk show. It's going to be called Drum Talk, and we're just going to have drummers on it. But instead of talking in English, they're just going to talk in drum fields, like does drumstick, and what about drumstick, and what do you think? Right. And so everybody just talked in drum fields, and it's going to be called Drum Talk, end the quote. That's a great idea. The basic tracks included the Linn drums, organ, and keyboard, guitar, and bass. But it appears that Prince didn't have the lyrics ready for the song, so one C60 cassette was dubbed, likely as a reference for him to write the lyrics. Once that was complete, the session ended at 6:30 the following morning. Status. The 6-minute Pride and the Passion would eventually be edited down to 4 minutes and 5 seconds and included on Sheila's third album. A lot there. It's funny because I don't watch a lot of, how do I want to put this? I'm always disappointed when I see artists being interviewed. You know, I'm not online, so I'm not on social media, so on YouTube. And I'm always disappointed because today, I think interviews, and you tell me how you feel about this, and people and guys in the chat, y'all can tell me what y'all think about this. I think that what Instagram and TikTok has done is that today artists talk more about their personal lives than their art. And I'm just not, excuse my language, I'm just not, I don't care who you fucking. I clearly a lot of people are. I'm sorry, Prof. Duff, I'm a reining in, but I don't understand why so many people care about who's in somebody's bed the other day. Can we please get musicians to talk about music? Can we please get actors to talk about the craft of acting? Can we please get comedians to stop acting like rappers and talk about the craft of writing jokes and storytelling? So this notion that Prince had an idea for a talk show called Drum Talk, you know, it may have been tongue in cheek. This is what I think is missing from artistry in general, that artists don't talk enough about art because Instagram and TikTok got people sharing, I guess, their lives, and we got to hear about your personal life rather than your art. What say you, Big Sexy, and folks in the chat?
You know, I think I agree with you, first of all, but I think a lot of it, though, is, and let me go ahead and be a snob on this, you know, your classic actors and true musicians, they're not doing that. You know, you don't hear Robert De Niro talking about, you know, what's going on in the bedroom. You know, you're not hearing Paul McCartney doing stuff like that. You know, you're not hearing Stevie Wonder doing stuff like this. A lot of it, and this is, you know, the old man Get Off My Lawn coming out now. A lot of it is recency bias because in order to navigate these new waters, you need to, especially new artists, needs to be in those spaces. And so if you're in TikTok, you got to be, okay, so you're a musician. What else you got for me? You know, they need that. The audience needs that salaciousness. You know, you see these beefs with Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion and whatnot. It's like, dude, who cares? You know, adults, I'll never say that, but adults, we do not care who so-and-so is boinking, you know?
Right.
And for me, I would love to hear how, I'll just say KRS-One, how he came up with, you know, some of his lyrics back when he was doing Boogie Down Productions.
Right.
That I like, you know. Now going back to now, what's that guy's name? Quavo? Well, he's messing with so-and-so's baby's mama. Man, later for that. Later for that. You know? Right. And so I think it's indicative of the times. MTV doesn't play music anymore. They make a bank on Teen Mom, you know, Lifetime, and all these other channels have all these Love and Hip Hops, Real Housewives of fill in the blank. It's all about the drama, and I'm just not in that audience.
Right. And so I'm with you on that. When you said that, I had a. I'm gonna go to the chat because what was the thought I had? I had a thought I was gonna. Because we talked about that. I'll come back to it. Hopefully it'll come back to me because. But I appreciate you because I'm with you on this. So let's go through our folks. House of Theo, brother Theo. Appreciate said doesn't give a damn about that either. I'm with you on that one. All right, thank you, brother Theo, and also brother Theo. Always happy to have you here, brother. Boombox Hero. Facts. It became complete gossip these days. I'm with you on that, and of course we got to show some love to the reason for why we here, brother Tudahl. We appreciate the work you do. Oh, and congratulations on the new book with Eric Lees. Oh, I don't know if you were here, but Prof. Duff said that she needs to get with you because she wanted to set up a time for you and Mr. Lees to come in and, you know, she can interview y'all and have y'all come. You know, she's away enjoying family, but everybody's going to want to see that Prof. Duff, brother Tudahl, and Eric Lees interview. So we want to thank you, brother, for the work that you've done, for helping us be here on the second book, waiting on that third book, and congrats again on the great work with Mr. Eric Lees. when Eric Lees talks, I sit down with popcorn to listen because I know it's gonna be great. So you tell the great Dr. Eric Lees that folks is happy that his book coming out and we getting ready to get down on it. So look at what some more folks saying here. Appreciate you, Elms. There it is, the clickbait. There we go. That's right. I lost again. What was it? It was because it had something to do with. Oh, I know what it is. When you said about how KRS-One came, right? Do you know, Big Sexy, and everybody in the chat, y'all get on me. I literally just learned this week. Melly Mel's verse on The Message.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that his verse was inspired by Stevie Wonder's Living Just Enough for the City.
You can hear it, but I didn't know that either, but you can definitely hear the influence.
And see, that's the kind of conversations I want. Right? The Melly Mel said, he said, when you even Stevie Wonder's verse, right? A child is born in Hartown, Mississippi. Then you get to the message, right? A child is born with no state of mind. And I go like, those are the conversations. And I guarantee you, Big Sexy, if more people would have those kind of discussions, I think people will be surprised at how many people would be interested in that. So thank you, Sister Chanel, right? But why more music isn't shared on these platforms, the process and the rehearsals. Thank you, Brother Nick Sheldon, for chiming in, right? Sister Zakia said they tried to do that to Prince in interviews, but he had heart. Exactly. I would always love the way they would try to come at Prince one way. And you know what, Big Sex, what I love about Prince was he could shade you and you not feel shaded. Like he could give you a swerve, and so so I just really enjoyed that. I really appreciate you on that. That the content is more important than the art, right? And that, you know what, Big Sex, I try, although I'm not successful, I try not to use the word content. I try not to, because I understand that content just becomes, right, a commodification of something, right? See what Rockabot's is saying. Ron O'Neal in the 70s spoke very formally with great grammatical syntax and usually Z-list celebrities running it. Well, I couldn't.
That's the way it is. Rocker's right.
Right. Soap operas and late night trash TV talk shows used to be. There we go. Like now it's everywhere. Thank you, Brother Blade Brown. It used to be just these few pockets, right? What was the magazine rag? National Enquirer.
National Enquirer. Oh yeah.
You knew that. Okay, that's what the National Enquirer was for. Now and again, I don't want to, I don't knock people hustle, but I also kind of blame TMZ. Although TMZ is but I say that TMZ kind of mainstream in a way the kind of National Enquirer stuff. I may be wrong for saying that, but it seemed like to me that TMZ kind of brought National Enquirer type stuff into the thing, right? Right. Brother JD said the risk of sounding like the old guy. I think there's less art in today's music. Hey, I'm old too.
Right.
And Brother JD, I would say this. That's probably the case because they don't have the young people talking about the art. They talk about the sex, the jewelry, the this and that, but nobody actually has these young people come on and talk about the art. So I'm with you that if more of these platforms would actually have the young people talk about the art, right? I love this as a kid selling the brand, content creation, right? We're gonna go through some of these. So I like this. I love this real line. They said that even Alexander Nevermind didn't speak about the sugar walls. There we go. Right. He wrote about the sugar walls, but he didn't speak about them, right? Perfect again, Sister Chanel. We ain't the target audience like Twitter. But and you're right. But let me ask you this, Sister Chanel, and everybody else. First of all, I agree with you. But like even at 12 and 16, for me, and maybe the generations have changed, I wanted to know about the music. I wanted to know about, and I'm not gonna sit here and say that I wouldn't look now, Big Sex. I ain't gonna front. Like I wasn't at that arguing like who was found in Vanity Apollon. Okay, I ain't gonna sit here and say I didn't have that argument, but I will say this though, Big Sexy. It may be because I had cousins who played in bands. So I was used to going to their rehearsals. right? I was used to posting up on the wall and watching them actually meticulously learn. It's something for anybody who's never seen. It's something to watch a band learn a new song, right? I can't explain seeing the different musicians learn the different parts of the songs and then hearing that all come together and hearing them play the songs over and over again. So I guess, Sister Chanel, you were right, but I wonder if because I was around musicians that even at that young age I wanted to hear about that, or even if you wasn't. So what do you think about that, Big Sex?
You know, I agree 1,000% because I'm sure, and I'm going back to being, get off my lawn again. People like us, we would read the liner notes.
Right.
So we had a vested interest in who's doing what.
Right.
Okay, so the engineer, such as producer. They got these cats from this band playing a session on this album. And also when you're young, when I was young, I played an instrument.
Yeah.
I played an instrument. I played a few instruments. And the thing is, if you're not playing it, you're not really vested in it.
Right.
You're not vested in the creation of it.
Right.
And a lot of people now are just, and I'm not gonna rip hip hop. Please don't think I am, but kids now aren't picking up the instruments anymore.
Right.
People come to me all the time. I'll get an email, Mr. Wiggins, will you listen to my beat? And I read a book about Stevie Wonder when he and Motown had their beef, and he actually left them right after he turned 18. But before he came back, he took time and learned music theory, which is not easy. But he did that to become a better musician.
Right.
And from that gave us that insane run, I'm going to say from Talking Book up to, Music of Songs of Key of Life.
Yeah.
All those albums, outstanding. Yeah. 4 of them were album of the year.
Yeah.
Because why? Stevie cranked up his passion and learned music theory. When Marvin Gaye did What's Going On, he's all, look, I'm tired of doing the Frank Sinatra crooning shit. Right. I have something to say.
Right.
And Barry Gordy, of course, said no. And Marvin's like, then I won't record for you.
Right.
And Barry's like, fine, you pay for it. Fine. And the album blew up. That's still his masterpiece album of all time. And where's that now?
Right.
Where's what's going on now?
Right.
That's the thing.
Right.
And again, I'm not saying that rap isn't a viable art form, because I'm not. When I was in college, I listened to a lot of it, and it was all different.
Right.
You had P over here. Right. You had KRS over there. You had Kid and Play over here. Everybody's doing something different. Mm-hmm. And now it's just mumble. Just the fact that we even have a phrase called mumble rap tells you where we're standing.
Right.
I hate that shit.
All right, let's look at some more folks got to
Sorry
say.
about that rant, you all.
That's good. That's good. So let's journalistic like that. Thank you, Heavenly Gaines. It's always great to see you. Like what Sister Kim says, unfortunately, the media landscape has changed to the extent that the artists are on their own. I love that. Like no PR, right? No PR person be damned. And not only PR, AR. Yes. So we don't have AR or PR.
The A&R people, man, I hate them.
Right.
They don't know shit.
Right. So we don't have artist development. We don't have PR people. So you're right. It's just kids out here just kind of making up as they go, and nobody really helping them. And of course, Brother Tudahl, you are absolutely right. This is your home. This is your house, brother. So anytime you want to pull up, of course, you're propped up. So when y'all get ready, just let me know. I'm a pull up with the popcorn and be ready for what's going on. So, and of course, brother Tudahl, you getting some love in the house. So people are giving you that love. And I love this, Sister Kia. People would love to hear Kendrick Lamar discuss his process. And that's the part that people don't understand. People would love to hear Kendrick Lamar. And we're shortchanging the young geniuses who are out there doing it. All right, so let's get to I want to make sure. Let me see. Sister Kim is telling us about the infrastructure. Music infrastructure also shifted. And down there we go. Marketing took over journalism. Podcasters now. There we go. Right. The whole shift in everything. you know what? I'm gonna click on this. I don't want to go, but so Sister Kia, you are 100% right. You are 100% right. I'm gonna say that you are 100% right that we need to hear more about Taylor Swift's writing and songwriting and all that, and forget all the men and stuff. And I'll leave it there. But I'll just say this for those who know. I also would like to see the sisters get treated with the same class and dignity that Taylor Swift gets treated with. And that's all I'm gonna say. If you know, you know, right? If somebody like Taylor Swift can have a life and still be respected, I'd like to see some of the sisters have lives and get respected too. And I'm gonna just leave it there because I don't want us to go left. I want to make sure I'm catching up with what everybody's saying. Yeah, I think we kind of caught up with what's going on. All right, so brother, Big Sexy, if you want to read Tuesday, May 27th.
Yes. Let me get into this here.
There
All
we
right,
go.
Tuesday, May 27th, 1986. I was still in Center Hall at Sac State as a freshman. Pride and Passion, vocals, sax overdub and mixing. Paradise Gardens, sax overdub and mixing at Sunset Sounds. Studio 3, 2 o'clock to 4:30. Booked and lockout. Boom. Producers Prince, David Z, artist Sheila, engineer Coke Johnson, my man. Okay, we got a quote from David Z here. Sheila was a great singer. Man, I would tell her to breathe heavy, and she'd give me a completely dramatic breathing of the song. She really impressed me with her ability to project emotion. Prince recorded his scratch vocals for Pride and Passion, and on reviewing the song, he wanted something extra for the horns on this track. It was something he had expressed in the past to Eric Leeds. Quote, there were times he would come to Matt and Eric and talk about maybe adding the third horn or the fourth horn. Then he would generally lose interest. My response, I got to be absolutely honest. I didn't want a third horn in this section because it was going to be a pain in the ass because Prince had the patience of a mosquito. Oh, God. When you have two horns, the options for harmonizing something are pretty limited. If you add a third horn, you now have exponentially added the option for harmonies. David Z oversaw Sheila's vocals, and Norbert Satchel worked on Sheila's Paradise Gardens. Eventually, Satchel was joined by Eric Leeds and Atlanta Bliss at the session, and from midnight to 4:30, Eric, Matt, and Norbert recorded their parts on the Pride and Passion, but Prince wanted something they weren't providing. He had already recorded his vocals on the song, but now Prince used his voice as an instrument to teach Norbert how he wanted the horns to sound. We have another quote. I do remember that Prince sang a horn idea that he wanted in one take from the beginning to the end of the song. It takes several hours to do a good quality horn arrangement because he split up the harmonies and harmonizes a certain way depending on the nature of the song. You decide what kind of harmony layering you want of the horns, and I was up all night writing that arrangement. 360 C60 cassettes were created of the song, including the one that Norbert took with him on the arrangement, and the session ended at 4:30 in the morning. Before I go further, Prince and his patience of a mosquito takes me right back to who? My man, Jimmy Jam. Jimmy Jam, what are you doing with the left hand?
Exactly. And that's one of my favorite Prince stories. One of my favorite Prince stories is Jimmy Jam, what he's doing, and the whole thing that he learned, right, doing that. So, I love Pride and the Passion. Makes me think about how slept on the Sheila E. album is.
The third one?
The Cuckoo and Honey Man. It really, this album, and I wonder if it's because because Pride and Passion is like a groove. The drums are what, for me on Pride and the Passion, the drums really drive this for me. But it's a kind of, I would say that this album, it's much more of a sleek sounding album than, right, the other albums. For me, and what say you guys is the third Sheila E. album slept on because it's a much more leaner and sleek album. It's a really, it's the other two albums have grooves, but this one is just really lean to me. And what happens with Big Sexy is sometimes when something is that lean, you'll forget about it till you listen to it again. Because it doesn't have a lot of the bells and whistles. But when you go back and listen to Pride and the Passion, like that's a really what I call a really kind of raunchy, funky groove that's just driven. And then when you add Paradise, and just to think about Paradise Garden is also one of those songs that are slept on for Sheila's vocal. And I really think her vocal comes across on Paradise Garden. So what would you like to say, or anything you want to add about those two songs before we move on to the other reading?
Well, like you said, that entire album is sleek, and I like that phrase because wasn't the lead single "Hold Me" from that album?
I think so. Yeah,
I think so. You look at her first album, you got "Glamorous Life,"
right?
Next album, you got "Love Bizarre." This one, you got a ballad. It's like,
right?
What are we doing here? So I mean, from a marketing standpoint, I get it, but from a fan, I was expecting, the upbeat stuff.
Right. I'm with you. Let's see here. Love Paradise Garden, surprise people that are involved. Like exactly, right. Yeah, I mean that's one. If you ever heard Paradise Gardens, and I know because Hold Me and other songs, I think that Sheila's voice really comes across here. And I'll tell you another song, not on this album, that really for me shows off Sheila's vocals is on her album Sex Symbol. The song Cry Baby. If Cry Baby on Sex Symbol is really a great song to show off Sheila's vocals. All right. So let me go through. Let me see what I'm missing here. Make sure I didn't miss anybody here. Hey, sorry about that, Sister Kia. You're right. I sometimes I get to doing stuff. So yeah, I left that up there a little too long. My bad. Let's see here. Let me see here. Was Baby Love saying, "Love you, miss you, Prince Rogers Nelson, the greatest music genius." Yes, yes, that's why we hear Baby Love, definitely. Sheila singing is very breathy and sexy on the third album. Very soulful. I like that. I like that. Because I'm a Honey Man and Cuckoo. Honey Man and Cuckoo. Those are my two, believe it or not, those are my two favorite Sheila songs.
What?
That's not believe it or not, those Honey Man and Cuckoo, because they get me in my chicken scratch groove. If you get me in the chicken scratch, right, and you can hold down the chicken scratch, so Honey Man and Cuckoo. But my favorite Sheila album is actually Sex Symbol, believe it or not. So and I don't have any other reason why other than it just is like, and it's not like, and by the way, I love the first two, love them. So it's not like that one is so far. But if I say, hey, I want to hear a Sheila album, what I usually do is I do Sex Symbol to work my way back, if that makes sense. That's kind of how I listen to see what's Brother Martin there. I rock the party, I rock the house. There you go. I like that. Sure, yeah. Jill Scott, Erykah Badu, wonderful writing skills. No, I don't think you did an argument. What about you, Big Sexy? No argument.
No. I'm glad Melvin brought that up because we're not hearing about that now. We're hearing about the drama.
Right.
How about the women who can do, the sisters especially, who can write their own stuff and express what they are feeling, themselves without making it about salacious nonsense and twerking and whatnot.
There you go. So now Love Sexy. Okay, so I think I think Cuckoo was the lead single because they had the video with Cat. So yeah, thank you. See, this is why we love the chat people, and we know that Prof Duff was at home screaming at the screen like, no, it was not. Yeah, so thank you, Love Sexy, for correcting us that Cuckoo was the lead single. And that video, man, that video did it for me, right? Let me see what says that. Modern says he is the whole Dream Factory sonic production atmosphere quality. The Sheila's third. I won't argue with you. Got some more Cuckoo love, right? There you go. There is.
Uh-oh.
There is. Hey man, the link is open. He had French fries and gin and orange juice last night. Hey man, if you guys ain't subscribed to Ted Talks Bass, he's been dropping some really great instrumentals and doing a lot of like Prince and Prince inspired bass lines. But just also kind of really dissecting, right, what it means to play the bass and how to understand. What I really love about what you do, Brother Ted, is that you not only talk about what it means to play the bass, you really discuss what it means to be part of a team making music. And I really love that about your tutorial, so that people learn how to play the bass from Ted. You're not just learning how to play the bass, you're learning how to be a musician on a team. So I really, really enjoy I really enjoy that. So there to go. Is that, wait a minute now, is that my homeboy from Jackson, Mississippi? Is that Brother Ben Bradley, my homeboy from Jackson? Brother Ben, let me know if that's you. That's one of Jackson. And Brother Ben, I talked about my cousins who had bands back in the 80s. This brother was also one of the hot musicians back in the 80s. So Brother Ben, let me know if that is you. Let me see here. I'm trying to, I think somebody's trying to join. It says the device is not connected, so I'm gonna hold that off till the brother gets everything. There we go.
What up, man? What up, though?
What's happening?
What up, though?
Now we're gonna get it.
Hold on one second. Brother, this brother here, I talked about I had cousins in the 80s who had bands in Jackson, Mississippi. This was another one of those brothers who was in that band, the band scene in Jackson, Mississippi. Great keyboard player, great technical musical guy. So I just want to and also a great photographer. So just want to give a shout out to a musician who was really keeping the Mississippi music scene alive in the 80s and 90s. So go ahead, Brother Ted, talk to the people.
Man, listen, I ain't been here in a minute, and I seen y'all talking some trash. I said, man, let me jump up in here real quick. You know, as always, long live Pretty Ricky.
There we go.
Man, I'm just a fly on the wall, man, observing. But when you talking about people sharing their life and the process, and man, I'm concerned about where this whole music thing is going. You know what I mean? Like, I wish that I could see all like a real clean version of those warehouse rehearsals.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That kind of stuff. But
right.
I just want to let you know that I had gin and orange juice and fresh fries last night, because I know everybody wants to know that.
There you go. It was a wonderful way to spend a Friday night. So if you can hang out with us, we're gonna do a little bit of reading, but we said thank you for hanging out with us. So what I'll do is Big Sexy, since we have 2 Wednesdays and they're short, wait a minute, I'll read the 2 short Wednesdays and then let you read the Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Then we may tag team on the Friday. So I read the 2 Wednesdays. That's right. Thank you, Sister
Book, man. Let me get my book.
Oh, wait, you got your book?
Man, listen, I felt like I walked in the Bible study without my Bible.
Oh, so I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen then. I'm gonna read the 2 Wednesdays, and I'm gonna let you read Thursday, May 29th. So go Thursday. If you got the book with the little orange, if you got the paperback, that's on 393. I want to say. Go to page 393.
Hey, you see this? You see this?
There you go.
That's where we at.
So let's go to 393, and then I'll let you know. But it's gonna be Thursday, May 29th. So I'm gonna go ahead and start reading, and I'll read the 2 Wednesdays, May 28th, and then we'll talk a little bit about that, and then we'll get on in. Let me see. Thank you, Sister Zakia, for putting a heart in the chat for Brother Pretty Ricky. You getting some arms of Orion love, brother. You getting some arms of Orion love for you.
Come on now, man. Come on now.
All right, so Wednesday, May 28, 1986, 13th Annual ASCAP Awards. Venue, Beverly Wilshire Hotel, Beverly Hills, California. Capacity is unknown. Dressed in a stylish purple suit, Prince attends the ASCAP Awards ceremony where he received 4 awards for most performed songs from October 1st, 1984 to September 30th, 1985 for Raspberry Beret, Purple Rain, When Doves Cry, and I Feel For You, which had been released by Shaka Khan and went to number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts and number 1 on both the U.S. R&B and dance charts. Also on Wednesday, May 28, 1986, we go back to the studio. We have Pride and the Passion, vocal sax overdub. We have Wonderful Ass. You have a wonderful ass. Yes, indeed. Likely Review, Sunset Sound, Studio 3, 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. Woo, 12 whole hours. Booked, locked out. Producer Sheila E., artist Sheila E., engineer Coach Johnson. We got an Eric Lee's quote in time for the new book that's coming out with Brother Tudahl and Eric Lee. So the Eric Lee quote will begin. When it basically came to the music, I didn't disagree with him, usually because I was there to do what he was looking for. It would really depend on what mood he was in, because he was obviously dealing with an instrumental that he had, an instrument that he had never dealt with before. There were times when he was a little reticent about what to do. He knew nothing about what really could or could not be done with it, range-wise or otherwise. As Eric leads, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., more work took place on Pride and the Passion, including additional vocals and horn with Bliston on trumpet and Norbert on sax, and Eric joining them on tenor sax. For the next 6.5 hours, vocal work was done by Sheila. Prince was not at the session during the evening, but when he returned, he spent the remaining studio time mixing and reviewing the progress of the track, as well as listening to an older mix of Wonderful Ass, which had been pulled off the shelf for possible consideration as a B-side for an upcoming release. Damn, let that sink in that we almost got Wonderful Ass as a B-side. We'll talk about that a little later. While in Los Angeles, it was announced that Prince would perform at the Wiltern Theatre later in the week. Tickets would go on sale the next day. So let's go back to the ASCAP Awards and see if anybody has anything they want to say about Prince receiving awards for these 4 songs being the most played. Because you think about October 1st, 84 through September 85, right? So Prince still has the radio on lockdown. So anything anybody want to say about those ASCAP Awards or Prince having the radio on lockdown? Appreciate you, Kim. I needed that. And then I'll let you guys go, and then we'll talk about the recording session. Either one of you guys want to say anything about those songs or what they meant to you when they was on the radio?
Well, it's like you said, he got an award for "I Feel For You," which he wrote, 5 years earlier, but Shaka would have covered with a whole new, flavor to it. I just said flavor. Oh my God. And Raspberry Beret, which was making a lot of noise, and Purple Rain, and When Doves Cry. And every time I hear that song, I think about that hat that he was wearing in the video. And then when he really gets into it, the hat comes off. Because it causes what? Boom! And he starts doing the Cap Calloway with the hair.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that. And so all those songs are pretty bumping. Then I'm a member of ASCAP, and I'm going to go to their awards next year, and I'm going to have some fun. I'm going to be a fly on the wall just hanging out.
So, and then, and Brother Ted, you can come in after. Tell the folks a little bit about exactly what is ASCAP and what is it designed to do, and what do these awards, what do these songs reflect about what ASCAP is designed to do? Big Sexy, then Brother Ted. Yeah.
Me?
I'm an ASCAP member as well, but I'm going to let Big Sexy take it.
ASCAP, I believe, and Ted, correct me if I'm mistaken, American Society of Composers and Producers, I believe. And, again, they're an organization of those individuals, and, they hang out and encourage each other and, nominate things that stand out to them in that population. And they're one of the 3 major performing arts organizations in the country. You know, you have ASCAP, BMI, and now you have Cobalt. You know, they're making some racket too. And so they really, really, in fact, I need to call ASCAP this week. They really are about protection of the artist. They make sure that the monies they collect, the artist gets. You know, none of that, you know, sneaky, we'll give you a Cadillac instead shit. You know, if you made X, you get X.
That's where you get your paper. That's how you get your paper.
Oh yeah,
man. I enjoy my regular random coffee money check from ASCAP. But I joined ASCAP instead of BMI because of Prince. You know, always in the you know, written, produced, all that stuff, and it had ASCAP on it. So when I got in the game, I said that seems like a good idea right there.
So let me ask you a question, just for people who don't like me don't know. Can you actually be members of both?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And in fact, I think, and I want people in the chat to correct me on this if I'm wrong. Well, no, that's not ASCAP. That would have been ASCAP. I was gonna say Pepe actually, when Prince first filed his deal with Warner Brothers, I think it was Pepe who taught Prince how to set his own publishing up. And Pepe said, so yes, y'all heard the story. So Pepe set Prince's publishing up, and then Warner tried to charge Prince, and Prince was like, well, Pepe, what is this? And he said, that's why I had you do it. So again, if you guys talk about this, and so it's also about a lot of having artists knowing how to protect themselves and protect their rights as much. If I'm hearing you guys right.
You know, back in the day, I mean, like talking 50s and into the early 60s, a lot of unscrupulous people in the label would put their name on the publishing as well. You know, and all that does is rip off the artist and lead to problems. I'm in litigation right now with members of a band I will not name publicly, but they had their manager, same thing. They're like, hey, let's make him a member. And so all the publishing, and during the heyday, everyone's doing okay. When the hit stopped, the money disappeared. Where'd the money go? Manager. You know, so you want to be inclusive of your people, but you have to have people around you who have your best interest at heart. I tell my musicians this. I tell my athletes this. In fact, I'm going to sit down with some athletes and musicians sometime in the summer and say, fellas, look, and I'm not trying to be sexist because this goes for the ladies too. When you have a gift like this, athletic, acting, music, you're a target.
Yes.
You're a target.
Yes.
You know, they're coming to get you. You know, they're coming to get their piece of you. And so it's my job to protect them from the Klingons out there trying to raid their stuff. You know, that's where we're at now, unfortunately, in society with this.
That's it. I'm glad you said that. Kim, forgive me. I'm gonna take a little detour. It's gonna be just a second, but I'm glad you mentioned athletes. And I'm a brother Sex and brother Ted. I'm gonna just remove y'all from the screen because I don't want y'all to get backlash, because I want to clear up something that's out there about something that the NAACP has going on. But when you said athletes, I'm glad you mentioned that. So I'm just gonna, because if anybody gets mad and gets letters, it should come to me. But in the name of people, myself. There we go. I was trying to get y'all out and remove myself. So when Brick Sexton mentioned the athletes, right now the NAACP has an out of bounds campaign. And the way people are misreading that is they think that the out of bounds campaign is telling Black athletes who deserve all this money, don't go play at these schools to give you their money. No, that's not what it's about. They're telling them, don't go play at schools in states that are destroying Black voting rights. So you have a conference called the SEC, the Southeastern Conference, and they have some of the best athletes. And all that money, they make billions of dollars off black athletes. So when you hear about the NAACP out of bounds, and someone says, how can a black organization ask black kids not to get paid? That's not what they're saying. They're saying is, if you got an offer to go play football or basketball at one of these major schools in the SEC, like Alabama or Ole Miss or Texas, you probably got scholarships to go play somewhere else. And they're saying, instead of go playing for these big schools where you are actually in a state that's destroying your voting rights, go play for a school in the state that says they want black people to have an equal right to vote. So that's what they did. So I'll bring the brothers back in now because I didn't want people. But when you say protecting the rights, right? And I'm glad we had this ASCAP and me and my come. But that's so for people, when you hear out of bounds NAACP, they're not asking black athletes not to go and make money off these NIL. They're saying, don't go play for a school in a state where that state clearly doesn't want you and your people voting. Does that make sense? I just want to make sure. Okay, so now I want to get back. Sorry, Kim, for that detour. But I just wanted to say that. All right, so Brother Ted, just if you guys want to get us back, thank you for this, Brother Tudahl. Look up Muddy Waters and Willie Dixon for the lesson on this. Also, Alan Klein, Rolling Stone. There we go. And I was so glad that Willie, I'm glad you mentioned that about Brother Willie Dixon, because I remember there was a lot of backlash when Willie Dixon won his lawsuit. And I was so glad that Willie Dixon won his lawsuit. And I also put up Sister Zakiya. And I put this up. And again, I'm not hating on Elvis because I've actually written a lot about Elvis. But, you know, because I had an article called Returning to, what is not returning, but about Blue Eyed Soul and what the whole Blue Eyed Soul means, and talk about that. And I talk glowingly about Elvis and Blue Eyed Soul. But to Sister Zakiya's point, right, there were a lot, Elvis wouldn't sing your song if you didn't put his name as a writer. And do you know only 2 people stood up to him? No, there were 3, but I can't think of the third person. But 2 of the 3 who stood up to him, one was Dolly Parton, and the other, believe it or not, was Carl Perkins. Because Carl Perkins actually wrote Blue Suede Shoes.
Yes.
Yeah, and what a lot of people don't know, just a little tidbit behind that one. Carl Perkins actually said he got the idea for Blue Suede Shoes. He was actually in a juke joint, and one guy bumped into another guy, and he heard the guy say, "Hey, brother, don't be stepping on my Blue Suede shoes." And the first time I heard that, I said, Carl Perkins was hanging out where the brothers was at. Like Carl Perkins did not hear that at a honky tonk. He heard that at a juke joint. So that's all I'm gonna say. Shout out to Carl Perkins and Blue Suede shoes. So all right, so Brother Ted.
Wait, hold on. Before you go to Ted, let me follow up with what Duane said. Yeah, Alan Klein, and I'm gonna go ahead and take the heat for this one. He's a piece of shit. You know, he did the Stones wrong. He did the Beatles wrong. You know,
that's Mr. Paola, right?
No, you're thinking Alan Freed.
Okay, my bad. I'm thinking Alan Freed.
You know, Alan Klein came in and managed the Stones, and then with the Beatles right at the end, he was with them too, and just destroyed all of it. He got them, and he got Sam Cooke too. You know, so Alan Klein is a piece of shit. Yeah, I said it. Put my name on it. And Duane Tudahl, advanced copy. Remember that.
Hey,
you know, but those books are all out there, and it's, for me, even if I wasn't in the industry, I would still consume that knowledge.
Yes.
You know, somebody mentioned, I think it was Rocket Bosch who mentioned, oh God, I can't think. Morris Levy. Yes. You know, that guy was heavy as well, man. And there's so much out there to learn about this business. And then you see how things work and how musicians are treated horribly. You know, I'll say this much and then I'll drop it. There was a very, very big hit in 2015 or something. I can say the name because I don't want to get in trouble. But that hit had elements of somebody else's work. the spouse of one of those writers is my client. And so I'm on it now.
Right.
That song at the last audit in 2016 was at 11 million.
Ooh.
And his estate hasn't seen a dime.
Wow.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna get her paid. That's what's gonna happen here.
There you go. And so before we let Brother Ted read, give you my little embarrassing moment to Big Sexy and the Brother Ted. My grandmother's never forgiven me for this. So I want y'all to know, growing up in Clarksdale, Mississippi, that I knew who Mr. Muddy Waters was. Growing up in Clarksdale, Mississippi, I knew who Mr. Muddy Waters was. I also, growing up in Clarksdale, Mississippi, I knew who Mr. McKinley Morganfield was. Knew Mr. McKinley Morganfield, and I knew Mr. Muddy Waters. Had no clue they were the same person. I was sitting there going, hey, Mr. Morganfield, did it come there? Hey, Mr. Waters, because Muddy Waters looked like Muddy Waters. Kelly Morganfield had no clue. And I remember I told that, and I said that in front of my mama and my grandma, and my mama just looked at me and said, please stop talking in front of your grandmama, because your grandma think you're stupid. Just please don't talk. Don't talk in front of your grandmama no more. So anyway, all right, so I just wanted to add that little levity that, growing up in Clarksdale, Mississippi. Sadly, I knew both. I mean, when I say knew, like, I knew them as human beings. But awesome. Kelly Morganfield looked like one of the deacons at the church. Of course, Muddy Waters is Muddy. I never put it together to what I was. Hey, Muddy Waters. My grandma was like, yeah. But Kelly Morganfield, yeah. My grandma said, don't send the boy to college. He ain't that damn smart. So yeah, all right, there you go. All right, so with that, Dad, please read.
That's like Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Exactly. I did not know that Bruce Wayne was Batman. That's I'm gonna be using that. Thank you, Brother Ted.
That's right. Where am I reading from, sir?
Thursday, May 29th, 1986.
Pride and the Passion. Vocals, sax overdub, Sunset Sound. Studio 3, 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. Booked, lockout. Producer Prince. Artist Sheila E., but Prince is listed. Engineer Coke Johnson. That's such a cool name, Coke.
Isn't it though? That's one of the cool names.
Yeah. Prince was a taskmaster, workaholic kind of guy. Nobody could figure it out. He'd be up days in a row without sleep. I don't know how he did it, but it was pretty nuts. Norbert Stachel. We're going to go with that pronunciation. The session started out with 4 hours of Sheila adding a variety of percussion flares, including go-go bells, congas, hi-hat, and cymbals to Pride and the Passion, a song which I love, with Levi contributing keyboards to the track. The remaining 5 hours consisted of Sheila embellishing her lead vocals and Levi and Sheila blending their vocals together for the layered background choir. Although he didn't hear it directly, according to Norbert, Prince had expressed to Sheila that he enjoyed the new horn arrangement. It is likely that Stachel was asked to record an additional sax part for the song, but it seems that Prince may not have spoken to him directly about it either. Prince wasn't really good at communicating his thoughts and words and emotions, I think because he's such a guarded person, so he'd hide it behind being a jokester and kind of making people feel bad and intimidating and being kind of childish. That was his way of talking to people, and he wanted to have control. I guess he was maybe afraid of being taken advantage of or hurt. 2 TDK K60 cassettes were created, and the session ended at 10 p.m.
All right, so I wanna discuss this, but I'm gonna open it up with an anecdote, and then I want both of you guys to then take the discussion about. The discussion is about communicating to get a record right, communicating to get a song right, okay? And so I have two friends from Jackson, Mississippi. They live out in San Diego now. One's a guitar player, one's a drummer. In fact, the drummer actually played for Little Richard for 20 years. you know my friend D-Mark. So D-Mark's production partner, Daryl, oh Lord, I'm forgetting Daryl's last name, and Daryl and I, we go way back. What is Daryl's name? Oh, I'm so sorry. Daryl, I'm forgetting my man Daryl's name, because Daryl's also a poet and a guitar player. But Daryl was also an athlete. He was a football player. Daryl and I laugh a lot about athletes being in artist spaces, because athletes talk to each other a particular way, right? If we on the team together and you having a bad game, you know, Big Sexy may walk up to me and go, "Damn, Timmy, get your shit together. Come on, baby, let's get this. Come on, dog." You know. So Daryl said he was in the studio one day, Brother Ted, and the musician, Daryl P. Thank you. Oh, thank you. That's why I like to have my Mississippi people here. Thank you, Daryl P. Thank you, Brother Ben. So Daryl was in the studio. I don't know what it is, but Daryl just said he kind of walked up to the dude and said, "Hey, brother, come on, man, get that shit. You can get that shit out." And then Daryl looked around like, "Are you crying?" Like, he was like, so he realized that he couldn't bring the same mentality as an athlete when he communicated to other musicians. Now, I want to connect that to, and I want to give a shout out to Sneak 22, who's not in the building. But if you've ever watched any of Sneak 22's documentaries on Prince, Jerome says he didn't have a problem the way Prince communicated because he played sports. So he was used to people communicating that way. Always great to see you, Sister Karan. So my question to you guys, thinking about the therapy story, about him communicating, and thinking about Jerome saying he didn't have a problem the way Prince communicated because he played sports. Can you talk just a little bit about any struggle or what it means to kind of communicate either in the studio or in rehearsal? And what are some of the struggles or about communicating that way? I'll shut up and let you two guys talk because you have more experience on that with me.
I was just in a situation just recently. I'm not athletic at all. And so I don't, but I'm from the streets, right? So, but I know that I can communicate one way with the brothers, and some people I can't communicate with. I'll give you an example. Recently, I played a gig, and one of the songs on the gig was Black Hole Sun. Mm. And so I have a street education as a musician and also a very academic background as well. And the keyboard player, white guy, as a bass player and as a dude, particularly as a black dude, I'm very sensitive to certain energies, and sometimes people can kind of talk above you or around you or whatever. So anyway, he had given out a chart. The keyboard player had given a chart, and Black Horn, that there's a part in there, do 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 do, blah 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 blah, whatever. There's hella ways to interpret this on the page. There's different ways to count this, right? But the drummer, who's also a brother from the church, I know he doesn't read. I know that he doesn't have, that background, right? So in the rehearsal, the keyboard player is trying to, I knew that he was going to jump in with some like real academic, in a way that was going to feel like talking down. And I said, listen, man, I'm not trying to be a jerk. That's not the exact words I used, but I said, let me deal with this, right? Because in the moment, as a sideman, you communicate a certain way. As a leader, you communicate a certain way. But I feel like you got to know your audience, know who's in the room, and sometimes develop different personalities for each of those people. So, I'm telling the drummer, I'm like, look, just think about it as 9, like a measure of 9. And so I know that even that, not that he's not a dummy, right? But I'm telling him, this is the way that it works for me. And if you and I can establish where one is. I'm sorry, I'm tangenting, but I think it's all about knowing your audience and being able to develop that communication style for each person in the room. And sometimes, I've told, drummers, hey man, you get down with your girl like that, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And some drummers can take that kind of talk. Some of them
right
ain't feeling that. So
right.
know their audience.
So all right, so let's go. Big Sexy, what say you?
I did play athletics and sports in high school and college. I played football. I was a pro wrestler, ran my own softball team. And so I understand the positioning of people and how you speak to them. When I wasn't the leader, when I was when I was on the football team as a lineman, my job is to do what I am told to do and to know my playbook. If someone pulls me off to the side, hey, Mark, you were supposed to do this on this play instead of that, the first thing I'll do is check if I'm wrong. And I'll pull up my playbook. Oh, shit, I'm wrong. Then I'll go ahead and correct it. Don't make the same mistake twice. Fast forward to, when I'm playing softball with Team Sexy. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And I'm the boss. I'm telling my players where I need them to be. And when they flub it, what I would always do is I wouldn't go, no. I'll pull the player aside and say, look, step in my office. And I'll say, what did I ask you to do? You asked me to do X. What did you do? I did Y. Did it work? No. That's why I asked you to do X. Okay. Let's keep our heads up and get it together. And at the same time, my job is also as leader to support them. You don't want to get down on them and make them feel, that they are just useless. Sometimes the umpire will jump on a player and I immediately jump on the umpire. They don't be barking at my players, man.
Right.
So if there's a problem, I'll take care of it. You just call the game. Right. And in music, I remember reading a piece way back when Prince had met Morris, and they were Morris is starting to run the videotape for him, and Morris is like, "Look, I'm a great drummer, blah blah blah." Prince is like, "I got a drummer. And that's how it should be. When you pick your group for that time, that's your group. Other people came to me at the same time too. Oh man, I can play shortstop better than so and so. No, man, I got a shortstop.
Right.
We're good. So it's really all about working together to achieve the goal. You're gonna like this, C. Lee. I'm gonna go ahead and quote my man, Mr. Arn Anderson, double A, back when he was dealing with the Horsemen.
There you go.
We're like a fine-tuned machine, and if one of those gears wants to fly off, we will pull it. I'm like, there you go. You have to work together, and that's what it comes down to. And you can see which bands work great together, and you can see which bands are kind of trying to figure it out.
Can I piggyback off that for a second?
Yeah.
I think I believe that like rehearsals are not democracies.
No.
It's a benevolent dictatorship when I'm in the room, right? Like I'll hear somebody's got to have veto power. Somebody's got to be calling a shot, and everybody has to understand, like Big Sexy is saying, they have. Damn, I need a name. Can I be Lil Sexy? Can I be medium sexy?
There you go.
Like if I got a band full of killers, right? They're like the most talented players in the world, but they can't play together, right? Then that's useless to me. And when I'm in a situation, I'm looking at like, okay, for lack of a better term, where is the weakest link? How do I make this come together so that everybody does their role. How can I set everybody up in the room for success, right? And everybody looks good. We all look good together. But I really believe that those situations, somebody's got to be the boss in the room. And how that person assumes that role is up to the person, but how you assume the role is also going to affect what kind of performance you get out of the people in the room.
That's perfect. And I want to say we got some great, getting to the slides in a second, we got some great picks. Sister Prof Duff has given us some great five subjects to read, but I just want to get to the folks in the chat. I've been saying some great stuff. Prince was CEO, band leader, writer, arranger, on and on. One person in his 20s. I think that's important, right? Certain people in the 80s experience him differently and beyond. I think that's right. So I do think that we have to give him grace. Look, man, if there's nothing else in my life for which I'm happy, I'm grateful I wasn't famous in my 20s. Because if I'd have been famous in my 20s, a lot of people hate me. I mean, I just man, look, the mistakes I made being broke, I can only think about the mistakes I'd have made if I had a little money to do some damage with. So, all right, my brother Martinez, I would say the conflict, I'll chime in, our backgrounds. One psychoanalyzes things they know in person, another group what things person. You're exactly right on that. Appreciate you, brother Martinez. Rocket Box, what Ted is describing, what team captains do, going over schematics and like technique, routes and defenses. Some need hard coaching, some that, and I think that's perfect is knowing your personnel, right? And learning. And I had to learn it. I will admit, 25 years of teaching in college, I had to learn that I couldn't, what I would write on one student's paper, I couldn't write on every student's paper, right? You develop a shorthand with certain teammates, you develop a shorthand with certain bandmates, and you realize that, hey, like you said, so I thank you for this rocket box, and echoing what Brother Ted is saying, that, you learn everybody. And then I would reverse it, though, and say that if you're the person being given the information, you have to learn just to take the information and kind of filter how the person said it. Like I had to learn, I may not have liked the tone, but I got to listen to what the person said so I can get into that. Right? A couple of more thoughts here. Sister Nakia, do what's told, don't take it personal. It was the CEO of a record company, right? Right. And I always wonder, right, do we take things differently based on who said it? Right. And so to Kia's point, would the people be analyzing? Because I think it was Brother Martinez, somebody put in, would they be psychoanalyzing if it was the CEO or someone who said that? Sister El Michelle said exactly, read the room. Thank you, Sister Kim. We're gonna try to get into it. So thank y'all very much. All right. So keep it coming, Sister Kim, because I'm trying to do all this and not push the wrong button at the end. What did Prince do forever? So it's a few buttons back here. I don't know what these buttons do, Brother Ted. I told Big Sex, I don't know what these buttons do. So I'm gonna try not to touch them because I don't know if that'll explode us. All right. So we're gonna go now.
Don't touch that one.
So check this out. I'm gonna let Big Sexy let you start. This one is kind of long, and then we're gonna go through some of the slides. But this is where Prince is giving the show at the theater. So Big Sexy, I'll let you start it off, and then if you want to tap out, let us know.
Can we just comment real quick? I'm so sorry,
Celia.
Can we just talk about the athleticism in this?
Oh my God!
Right here,
yes.
I think it was either Morris or Brown Mark shared something just recently where he was doing the splits and then had the, doing the mic. I'm like, could you imagine the strength and stamina that took? Crazy.
And your quote, Joe's right here to what Sister Mueller is saying. Reasons why being involved in sports, performance groups, etc., is important in childhood. You have your children involved in these things in sports. I'm a divulge something. I'm gonna divulge something right quick. Because to Sister Mueller's point, I'm gonna divulge something right quick. Has anybody in the chat? Has anybody ever seen the television program? And it probably started about 10 years ago. So you may not have seen it, and it's kind of like a reality TV show. Has anybody ever seen the show Dancing Dolls? Or DD4L, Dolls for Life, Dancing Dolls? Anybody in the chat? Anybody ever seen Dancing Dolls? I may be saying it wrong. It's either Dancing Dolls or DD4L. It was a reality TV show. Let's see if anybody, because Mila's point here.
Dancing Dolls for Life.
Yeah, Dancing Dolls for Life. Has anybody ever seen that? And yes, Prince was a real hooper. So I guess okay. So no one has seen that. It was a really big, popular. It's such a popular reality TV show that they now do tours, brother Ted. It's a dancing show for like I'm trying to see how would I describe it. For like the majorettes and the dancing girls at football games. It's those little dance troupes for little girls like that, right? And it became this really big. It's a really big reality TV show, and the sister who was the leader of it got a lot of flack because of how hard she was on the girls, and it was, because this reality TV show has got some other salacious stuff. She was actually one of my students. I taught her in college. So Coach Diana, so it's funny that when I would watch, I didn't watch the show because I'm not a big reality TV person, but when I would watch it and people would talk about how hard she was on the girls, I was like, I hope I didn't inspire that. I hope I wasn't the jerk leader teacher who made her tough. But to Sister Mila's point, what it does is reinforces all of these different kind of skills and characteristics we get from being involved in these things. All right, so I'm gonna let Big Sexy get us started, and then when you want to tap out.
All right. Friday, May 30th, 1986. Venue, the Wiltern Theatre in LA. Capacity, 2,300, which I thought was bigger. Sold out. Alan Lee said there was beginning to be a Prince backlash. And I thought that this was a tour that could go to great lengths to dispel the backlash because it was back to basics and it was music and it was fun and it was pure. I heard that.
Hold on 1 second, Big Sexy. Thank you, Sister Mila. Bring It. That's the name of the show. Bring It. That was Sister Mila. That was the name of the show. You see, I wasn't a regular watcher. I think Dancing Dolls was the name of the performance troupe, but the actual name of the show was Bring It. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt you there, but thank you, Sister. All right, go ahead, Big Sex. I'm sorry.
Okay. Tickets for this show went on sale the day before, and the venue sold out in 30 minutes. But the lack of promotion for this seemingly random series of standalone shows likely limited the awareness of the upcoming film and probably hurt any synergistic momentum Prince could have had from his current album and single releases. Part of a well-planned tour includes a variety of opportunities for press, which cause more excitement and allows more fans to participate. Having a schedule that appeared to be poorly organized with no repeat venues until the last two U.S. shows caused everyone to be available to satisfy Prince's whim. Even vital crew like Roy Bennett, who's the light guy, who would design the lighting and look of the shows. I was still working over in England, and I was having to fly back and forth, constantly doing these shows. I would fly over and arrive the morning of the show, go out and do it, get on the plane and fly back, and a few days later, get a call and have to fly back. Whew. Prince felt the production of the Purple Rain tour was regimented, explained Alan Leeds, and Prince was anxious to go to the other extreme and to use the George Clinton term from the 70s, an anti-tour. Parade was going to be his anti-tour. Normal clothes, i.e. straight hair in his suit, stripped down, no props, real back-to-basics, old-fashioned funk rock and roll tour. Far out. We got a long quote here from, I think it's from Roy.
Is that Roy or
is that Alan? Let's find out. He'd been accused by critics and fans like us having turned his back on black music. He was determined to prove with his new James Brownish ensemble, that wasn't the case. And at the same time, give focus to the new musicians in his camp and the new horizons they had begun to conquer. And he really was anxious to just get on a big stage and jam with these guys. The band was having fun. He was having fun. The music was fresh, but there was, I know for a fact his managers did not like the show. They didn't like the way it looked. They didn't like the campy James Brown-esque review elements of the three guys. Prince was so much in this mentality of being anti what the big production tours were, and it was his way of saying, look, I can't outdo Purple Rain. So rather than compete with myself, I'll just go the other extreme. Well, it also meant in terms of lighting and everything else. And I remember sitting in one of the hit and run shows with Prince's manager, Steve Fargnoli, on the soundboard, and I was getting off. I thought it was the greatest show we'd ever done because I'm a music guy, and Fargnoli was just sitting there shaking his head. It looks awful. The lights are messed up. It just doesn't look good. Prince won't let us light it because he didn't see a lot of lighting effects. So it was kind of a difference of opinion going on between him and management as to how to widely expose his anti-tour for fear that it might derail the megastardom that Prince had given birth to. And now, furthermore, Rory says it was pretty basic. Agreed, Rory Bennett. Even when we started, eventually I designed a real show, but it was still basic. There were no moving lights or anything. I was glad to be unencumbered from the costumes and the linen and being stuck to playing now in Purple Rain. Remembers Bobby on the Purple Rain tour, and I'll lose it. On the Parade tour, we were playing. There was a real big band, the horns, everything. It was tight, and it was the ultimate. An after party was thrown at Tramps in Beverly Hills. Prince's former girlfriend, Vanity, how you doing, girl? Was in attendance. 3 songs from this concert, Automatic, DMSR, and The Dance Electric, were released as part of MPG's audio show number 7 on August 28th, 2001. Now, let me go ahead and do my feeling for a moment. I was not aware that the Parade hit and run shows were considered to be anti-tours, and I always thought it was unusual that Prince had the student tie on. Now we know why. I didn't know that before.
There you go. All right.
News to me as well.
All right, so I'll catch his last little piece, and then we will get to the discussion. Because I'm glad you brought that up, because that's kind of where I want to go. As the release date approached, Warner was still nervous about Under the Cherry Moon being seen as an art film instead of a blockbuster that everybody expected. So they took matters into their own hands, remembers editor Rebecca Ross. They basically took over black and white work print. It was almost the final cut and had everything printed from the color negative and paid a Warner Brothers assistant editor to assemble the movie. We screened it and Prince saw it and just said, destroy it, make sure everything is destroyed, end quote. He was miserable, just unhappy with the color version. Everything was shot for black and white, and the white with filters, which made it look awful as a color film. Michael Ballas, the cinematographer, had done black and white films before using this technique, and it was Prince's vision to make a black and white film. Under Cherry Moon was shot on a color negative, but printed in black and white. And this is Rebecca again talking. So somewhere there's a color negative of the movie. I don't know where, because they wouldn't have destroyed it, reveals Rebecca. But yes, somewhere in a studio vault, it exists. So now we got more fuel to the fire. We'll discuss that. But I want to go back to something before we get, because I want to get to these beautiful prints, right? I want to get to these beautiful prints that Prof. Duff has given us. But I want you guys to talk briefly, and I know we're coming up on end of the second hour. I don't think people realize how loud the chatter was, particularly, and I wasn't one of these people, but I was in the group of people who was a Prince fan before 1999. And I think that, can you guys just talk a little bit about, maybe you were like me, you were there, You heard it, you thought it was absurd, but people also saying that there was a loud contingent of folks, particularly again, folks who were there, Prince fans before 1999, who were saying Princeton kind of turned his back on his black crowd. What guys you say to how loud it was and that existed?
You know, I didn't hear a lot of that, honestly.
Okay.
I remember in 1980 when Dirty Mind was out, and he was leaning into some of these new wave spaces, and with Controversy, same thing. And again, you know, that's the artist's journey. But when 1999 came out, that was just a whole new explosion of colors. You know, it had all these different things going on. I never heard anyone come to me, nor did I see it at the shows. Oh man, he ain't black enough no more. And I had heard that again when he had released the Black Album initially, and then pulled it back. You know, if that criticism was there, and I'm saying that it wasn't, I never caught wind of it. Okay. But I was in the Bay Area, so it's always a little weird there. Now, if it happened, I'm curious to know as to how a person would come to that conclusion when you're following the artist's journey, doing what they're doing. Now don't get me wrong, it would be different if Prince came out after, say, Dirty Mind with a cover album of Frank Sinatra. You're like, the fuck? Where is this going? So I would get that, but I don't think what he was doing, you know, up through his whole career, it's all a linear path, and you can see from a sense standpoint, it all made sense. Right. It all made sense. Right. And that's just where he was going at that time. Mm-hmm. And I think David Bowie said it first. When you have a hit album, you as the performer and writer, you get sick of it. Mm. You know, David Bowie said, I'm not doing Ziggy Stardust anymore. Right. You know, and Prince would get on people later on, oh man, I want to hear DMSR, the real version. He's all, play the album. Right. The album. So I understand where, you know, he was doing different things, and some people in the audience really get stuck in the one era, you know. And yeah, we talked about this before, Celie. You know, we would go to shows, and one of the peasants would walk up, I don't know this song. Right. It ain't my fault, you know. There's more to him than Purple Rain. Damn. Right. You know? Right. Or the idiot that's in the show screaming to hear one song all night. Right. Yes. There you go. What say you?
I didn't hear a lot of that either. Really, I mean, if I'm, you know, I really resonate with what Big Sexy said about the artist's journey. The only time I can imagine Prince having a solid black, predominantly black audience, it quite honestly is those first two records. I mean, For You is an R&B record, like most of the R&B records of the time, and so it, you know, and Prince kind of steps out a little bit, but by the time Dirty Mind happens, I think we're starting to see, you know, I think it's all open at that point, but I don't know that I caught too much wind of all.
I would push back just a bit, having gone to those shows. Yeah. I would say that because I got to see Prince open for Rick James, I got to see the Controversy show, and I got to see the 1999 show. Yeah, and I did see the tail. So the interesting thing about the 1999 show I saw, to kind of give context, Prince played in Memphis, Tennessee twice in '82. Mm-hmm. He played early February, somewhere in February, which was the end. The end of the Controversy show, and then late December, beginning of the 1999 show. So that's important because in December of '92, MTV hadn't put Little Red Corvette in heavy rotation.
92?
82. I'm sorry, 82. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm right. So again,
It's
82.
time to take your ginkgo biloba.
There you go. So February 82, December 82. So the Controversy tour, February 82 in Memphis, Tennessee. 1999 tour, December 82. Little Red Corvette is not in heavy rotation. So for me, the Rick James Show, Controversy, 1999, those shows are 65%, 70% black. And if you look on the record charts, Little Red Corvette becomes the first song to chart on the pop chart higher than a Prince song had charted on the R&B chart. So just looking at the attendance of the concerts and where the songs charted, you could reasonably say that until you get to the second leg of the 1999 tour, Prince was probably still a 60, 70% black audience. And it isn't until Little Red Corvette goes into heavy rotation, and then they re-release 1999. I'm hoping I'm getting my facts straight on that. Then 1999 turns on the axis. So putting that in, and again, that doesn't have anything to do with you, because you hear what you hear, and it may be because I was around maybe different people. So me seeing the the population, the racial makeup of those audiences, and being in what's called like a chitlin circuit town, like Jackson, Memphis, New Orleans, right? I'm seeing Prince in these chitlin circuit towns, Charlotte, Atlanta, right? That, if you talk that, I was then in and around, and the radio, what I did as you start getting into Purple Rain, did start hear that. So when Prince asked the question in the MTV interview, what we're calling the mock interview, right? Because we know it's his manager, that was a question that I had heard. But I'm glad to hear you guys, because you guys are saying that it also may be regional, where people would have been having those. And I think that's also important, that we talk a lot about time in history, but regional is just as important, where you have different diversities of people. So you may not be having those conversations in ways that everybody else is having. So I'll let you guys chime in on that, because then I want to get into talking about just the Hit and Run tour and get into these beautiful pictures, and then see what folks in the chat. Is there anything else you guys wanted to say about that aspect of it before we get into just actually talking about the actual Hit and Run tour, and then looking at these beautiful pictures that Prof Duff has given us? All right, good deal. So let's now go to so I don't want to get too far behind. I want to see what folks in the chat were saying quickly before we get. I love what Rockabye says here about he wish magazines would run pictures like these, like this one, so people could actually see what I'm on record, Rockabye, saying that, though Prince did it differently, the Sound of the Times show and this show made it clear that Prince was a hell of a dancer, right? All right. Let me go down to a couple of things. Just want to kind of get. Then Rockabye says again, Prince was a human AI doing it. Just going back, Modern there said he worked a little bit on that show, Bring It. So, all right, cool. There we go. Let me see a couple other Rockabye. The Hit and Run tour was Prince's Pierce R&B's Rhythm and Blues tour. It was the Purple Review showing that he had the baddest band in the universe. You won't get any argument from me. Baby Love talked about Prince being a great dancer. I like this.
You see that tour?
No, I missed that one because I was so mad. I just knew that they were either going to come to New Orleans or Atlanta. I knew that was going to be a hit and run, but when he didn't come to either New Orleans or Atlanta, I was like, wow, this is a really limited U.S. run when he didn't do New Orleans or Atlanta.
Yeah, I loved Another Love, A Hole in Your Head when that video.
Yeah,
I was just the horn arrangements. I loved that whole thing because it was so different from Purple Rain.
Right.
I loved it.
And we're screaming at the video that we weren't gonna get that tour. Right, we're screaming. I like what Rock By says. Felt that Greg Wally and Jerome were whipping boys for some in the band, not liking non-musicians in the. And I'll say, not only non-musicians, I think it was also partly racial as well. I think that having that added, and see, this is what for me goes back to the discussion we're having. Through 1999, the front line is 3 black men. Andre, Prince, Dez, and then Brown Mark, Prince, Dez. And I think when we get into Purple Rain and Wendy replaces Dez, it became easy for people to forget that the frontline band, what I call the original Revolution. I always tell people, do you know who was the original guitarist in the Revolution? Right? If I want to check your fandom, can you tell me who the original guitarist in the Revolution was? And if you don't say Dez Dickinson, I'm probably not going to talk to you about Prince ever again. And so I think people forget that original front line was 3 black men. So coming to Rockabye's point, I really don't think that a lot of that pushback was the fact that it was 3 black men being added to that band. D68A, and I got to say it right. This is the D68A channel. All right, so now, and go to the D68A channel and check out this stuff. I think Ron Wilson was taking pics at the Wilson show. He'll have to check. So thank you for that. Let me see here. Oh, what's up? I hope I didn't miss him. I hope he's still here. The Electric Vibe, man, taking a quick moment. We are so glad that you checked in, man. We thank you, brothers, for all that y'all are doing over there on that channel. If you guys have not checked out the Electric Vibe, they got great interviews with so many folk. So thank you, good brother, for checking in. And yes, we're all loving the new Eric Lee's book that's coming out. Brother Lee Christian, 1986-87, there was a black kid in my UK Catholic school, and I was a bigger Prince fan. But so that's not a conversation I was privy to. So brother's like, look, I ain't gonna get into what the black folks were saying. I'm gonna just tell you I was digging it over here. I like that. That's right. You saying checking out everybody's coming to celebration. Let me see here. All right, so let me do this. Want to see? I know some other things.
I want to clarify something though,
Go ahead.
And you reminded me when you talk about the original front line. Like, I personally never saw Prince lose his blackness.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can't say the things I want to say in the language I want to say. I'm in mixed company, but I know you know where I'm going.
Right.
He always had that I think the kids call it aura.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? So that's all I have to say about that.
All right, light it up. I'm with you on this. We all love Cat. Rest in peace to Cat. And thank you, Sister Zakia. That little red Corvette guitar solo, which is really 5 solos pieced into one. So shout out to that. And you guys maybe can talk a little bit later about how difficult that is that you lay down 3 or 4 different solos and then somebody piece them together. Now you got to learn 3 different solos pieced together. We'll talk about that a little later. There we go. Thank you, Sister Chanel. Appreciate it. Yes, Dez put his foot in on that. And Sister Christina. So let's look at some. Hey, Sister Christina, thank you for joining, seeing everybody. And so let's look at some of these picks and talk about some of these picks from the show. Man, the boys doing this thing. And I'm just going to go through the picks. So Big Sex and Ted, y'all let me know if you want me to stop at one and y'all just want to discuss one.
You know, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. How do those pants stay up?
Hey, I ain't mad. Hey, look here. I'm with you. In fact, I remember reading a review. And the guy wrote, with those pants always threatening to go the other way. I'm with you. Like, look here, the elastic in them pants, boy. That ain't regular elastic. That's all I'm gonna say. These are just some brilliant, brilliant, beautiful shots. I love this one. I love
That's a
this
great
one.
shot.
Now, right there. I mean, if you hate on this, you just got hateration in your heart. Like,
That's right.
like this is just two homeboys doing their thing together.
That's right.
And
Right.
Drew was clean too.
Oh, wasn't he clean? As they say, cleaner than a board of hell.
Yes, sir.
You know what? I always love the white coat that Wendy was rocking during this time. Always. And shout out to the 80s and them shoulder pads. Shout out. Some of y'all didn't live through the 80s and them shoulder pads. Y'all don't know about them 80s and the shoulder pads, but shout out to the 80s and them shoulder pads. I always love this one because you get to see the chemistry that they had built, right? This is for me just a great example of chemistry and love and what this band was about, right? I mean, you know, I'm going to just keep my own thoughts because, you know, as a 16-year-old, when I saw this picture, let me just say that I was jealous of Prince. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
You know, I was extremely jealous of Prince when I saw that picture, right? Getting his pimp boy swag on right there, getting that pimp boy swag and seeing what's happening there. I like with, there you go, them shoulder pads. I'm sorry, Kim. I'm sorry.
Is Kim the timekeeper?
Yeah, he is the timekeeper. She's the official.
Don't get yourself in no trouble now.
There you go. And shout out to Kim for coming to the symposium and keeping time at the symposium, right? Thank you, brother D68. The photos are either definitely Ron Wilson or Bill Marino. So appreciate you on that for letting us know. I know Prof. Duff wanted to know, right? Right. Amen. I'm just, you know, I just got to give it up for that one. I just got to, you know, yeah. Anyway, I think nothing be said. I'm a happy mad man. I'm going to keep it moving. All right. So we are at the end of our reading. We have had 67 studio sessions in all for 1986. 29 new songs total. All of the songs tracked, you can see them all here. You can go through all these songs. And look, Prince has tracked more songs than most people career. 1986 is still more songs tracked. In there, can't forget Starfish and Coffee being tracked. 4 live concerts total. Right, we see him there at the First Avenue, the Metro, the Warfield, and now the Wiltern. 8 guest appearances. Right, we see him All American Music Awards and all the way down to the 13th Annual ASCAP Awards. And again, appreciate Brother Ted and Big Sexy for giving us some insight. Now it's time for the Netflix break. And I will simply say, says no spoiler alerts. I kind of know what this is about. So there we go. Appreciate you, El Michelle, for helping me stay out of trouble. There we go. Hey, all I'm gonna say is amen, brother. Amen. You're absolutely right, Nick Felder. That's why my hairline is fighting to stay, because that perm and Jerry curl in the 80s and 90s is killing my hairline today. There we go. Prince was very bold. I'll say that. So, so coming here, how did Prince adjacent? And I think this is the best way to say it without a spoiler. There is a Prince song in one of the episodes. And that's all I'll say. And I'll also say, thank God it's not a Purple Rain song, because I like the fact that more of Prince's catalog is being discovered. So that's what I'll say, that there is a Prince song being played there. You know what, Sister Karan? See, this is a statement on this sister. Man, look at this statement now. You know, that's just wrong, right? I'm gonna put on my man's clothes and let him know what time it is. See that's just wrong. Vanity just showing up, still marking her territory. Now, I'm playing with you. There you go. All right. So somebody in the chat, I'm not gonna. Okay. Very good. So there's a Prince song, and Is God's Good as well. Thank you for that, Sister Kim. That'll give me the playing it. I'm not. Some of y'all, a couple of y'all have put in that chat what y'all think the song is in there. I'm not going to click on it because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. Let me see. I guess I'll finish it now here since I ain't heard it. hey, I'm including that. Damn, now I gotta go finish it. Now to see what it is, right? All right, so let's see here.
Is the show good? Is the show good? Because I don't want to get invested in a whack show.
Show is good.
Okay.
Show is very good.
Okay.
And I can't say because I never watched Power. So that's just not kind of my genre, but
it's not Sinners good, right?
Huh?
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop.
You know what? I'm gonna let you leave.
I'm gonna mute myself.
I'm gonna let you live. And I'm gonna just say this is my answer back. Shout out to the people at the University of Washington of Western Washington University who brought me in to discuss Sinners. That's all I'm gonna say. So they got your boy out here traveling around, Brother Ted, in academia discussing Sinners. All right. So now it's time for a book break. Yes, we've been talking about this. So we got Brother Eric Lee's new book with Brother Tudahl. Eric Lee talks about his new memoir. And I want everybody to know that it's a memoir. So it's not just him talking about Prince. It's his memoir. And of course, in his memoir, he covers working with Prince. And so
there could not be a better cover.
Yeah, that is look,
freaking amazing.
Look, I'm with you. And what's crazy, that was always one of my favorite pictures anyway. So the fact it's one of my favorite pictures and it's perfect for Eric Lee's book. So I'm with you on that. They did that thing on that. Some of these, let me see. I don't know if so it says we'll do these 3 questions, a deeper dive. Your first session with Prince was in 1984. What was it like? And Eric answers, Prince was sitting in his rehearsal space and asked if I wanted to take a cassette of 4 songs he'd written to get familiar with them. I replied, quote, if that's what you want me to do, cool. But I got my horn and I'm ready to go, end quote. I didn't say that because I was cocky. It was because I had no interest in doing homework. He smiled and said, let's go. Right? So that's very interesting. Then the next question is, do you have a favorite project with Prince? And just interestingly enough, we've been talking about this. Eric says that there was a group of never released instrumental sessions known to the diehard fans as The Flesh. The jazz side of me always enjoyed the more improvisational recording. Whoops, sorry about that, y'all. And then next, finally, what will people learn about Prince in your book? And Eric says, our relationship was primarily about making music. So I hope to give a fly on the wall perspective of the 175 plus recording sessions with such a remarkable musicians. And so again, Things Left Unsaid, Making Music with Prince by Eric Leeds, and a foreword. Oh man, from Bradford Marcellus. I'm just catching. Hey, Bradford Marcellus has written a foreword. I am there. And I'm sure that you guys can talk a little bit more about this. I just mentioned this. So when we were young, my cousin and I used to love when Wiltern Marcellus would be on a Tonight Show. Because there's nothing better than black folks listening and black folks talk-ish, right? And so Wiltern would go on and as you have to understand, see, people don't understand that we're of the age when black people used to have to look for black people on TV. Like we weren't just all over. And I think people take that for granted that was a time, and remember, there were only 4 television stations, right? ABC, CBS, NBC, and then PBS. So you used to have to look for black people. So when Wiltern Marcellus would be on the Tonight Show, that was one of the few times we got to see black people. And then when Brandon Marcellus became the musical director, was it the Tonight Show that Brandon was the musical director for? When Brandon became it was either the Tonight Show or one of the other late night shows, and Branford was, and I realized how different Brandon was from Wiltern, right? That how different 2 brothers could be, and I loved it because they just brought 2 different dynamics, And so now that I was already gonna get the book anyway, but now that I know that Branford Marsalis has written the foreword, that's just the Tonight Show. Thank you, thank you so much. Yeah, so I love that when Branford was the musical director for the Tonight Show. So we putting out the bat signal. Can't wait for Prof Duff to interview Brother Tudahl and Mr. Leeds about his book. And now we're gonna go to the Purple World. Y'all know what time it is. Let me go and say it. It's just around the corner, right? So about that time, we're getting geared up for celebration. And so getting us ready for celebration, we got Dance On the Prince Conference by the International Center for Prince Studies. I can tell y'all, these folks have been doing conferences since around 2017. Great content. I hate that word content, but in this, right, they're great papers, great academic discussions here. And of course, we know all the great stuff that's happening about celebration. Any thoughts you guys got on what's happening with celebration? We got Shaka Khan, Morris Day. I'm so glad to see Tevin Cameron's going to be there. So glad the Sounds of Blackness is going to be there. Of course, Bootsy, Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis. And you guys got anything to say about celebration?
Is there another, like, I'm not the biggest fan of Miguel. I mean, no shade to him. I mean, just, you know, but like, what other artists do you think could have been, like, newer generation artists that could have been on this? I'm not mad at anything on the lineup. I'm just curious.
I'm gonna answer your question by going this way, because I literally was having this discussion with somebody maybe 2 days ago. I think some of how you may feel about Miguel is because, unfortunately, Miguel was one of those people that when they first came out, here's the next Prince. And I have to learn.
Agree.
And I had to learn to not take that out on the artist, if that makes sense. That every time a new artist would come out, whether it was Miguel or Maxwell or Janelle Monáe or, you know, insert the name, they would always say, you know, D'Angelo, or and just many, many more names. This is the next Prince, right? And what I had to do was always take a step back and learn to appreciate this artist, not because somebody said they're the next Prince, but for what they're bringing to the table. And so I'll answer that way because, unfortunately, as a lot of people know, I'm not as up on new music as most people are. So I see a few people putting some things in the chat. And so, yeah. So I like somebody put Maxwell. So somebody said maybe, you know, mid condition. But so, yeah. So, right. So yeah, so anything else about celebration you guys want to add? We're glad that it's happening. Tickets are still out there. Keep check because I think you can still get individual tickets. I like that they're just putting as much as they can in there, getting as many different options. So let me go down to some more slides. Got the Shaka here. Shaka is going to be on First Avenue. We got the Club 3121 celebration with the sisters. So I love the DJ Rashida, Ashley Tamar, Liv Warfield. Love Liv Warfield. I'm going to keep saying it till I'm blue in the face. I love Wow. Wow has just always been one of my jams. You know, definitely. I'm glad somebody said Raphael Sadiq became one of those. Right, exactly. I'm sorry. Thank you, Cam. The Shaka show is sold out. And you know what? I'm glad to know that the Shaka show is sold out. That means that they're bringing in the folks that people want to hear. So I'm always glad that this close to it, that stuff is getting sold out. And of course, if you can't make it up north, I want to give a shout out to DJ Soul's sister, Sister Weber. She is an archivist at Tulane University. She has the Purple Takeover every year in New Orleans. Ted, I've been to the Purple Takeover twice. I've spoken. I was a guest speaker at the Purple Takeover twice, and so I can say that she puts on a great 3-4 day celebration there. She's a great DJ. I don't know if being in New Orleans, if you had a chance to run across DJ Soul Sister, but
I have not, but I'm going to make it my business too this year.
Definitely check that sister out. She's a good sister doing a lot of things. Thank you, Sister Chanel. Going to see Live Warfield at Blues Alley. All right, very good. Tara is saying that getting ready for next Saturday for Melissa. Very good, very, very good. There we go. Please, if you can, support the PRN alumni meet and greet. These are folks who work with Prince, and they are continuing the foundation legacy of Prince. That is, they do events to do charitable work. So it is. So if you ever see the PRN alumni, please support them, because one of the things that they're doing is keeping alive Prince's charitable foundation work. So definitely check them out. Check out their events. Also, props to Sister Mate Garcia. She's continued her charitable work with the Love for One Another charities. I'm so happy I got to see the Love for One Another show in Birmingham, Alabama, of all places. Got to see. I drove over and saw that show. I saw the Love for One Another show in Birmingham, and by the time it made it to Jackson, it was the Jam of the Year tour. So I got to see the beginning and kind. In fact, we stalked Prince. My wife and I stalked Prince from 96 to 99. I actually saw Prince the New Year's Eve show in Houston, Texas, in the old Compact Center. You know, how many people remember the Compact Center in Houston, Texas? I saw Prince. It was the 1998 New Year's Eve show. So from 96 to 99, my wife and I stalked Prince across. So I'm so proud and thankful that Sister Mate is keeping up the work with the Love for One Another charities, and that Sheila E. And I'm so glad that Sheila E. is getting a second and third act, man. I'm so glad that she's out there touring and making music, and people are seeing the genius that she is. Did I not? Wait a minute. Did I not say it right, kid? Compact, what was it then?
No, that's right. That's
okay,
right.
Okay. Yeah, the Compact, because it was named after the computer company.
Yeah.
The Compact. Yeah. It was the Compact. It used to, thank you, brother. It used to be the Summit. You know, the Summit. It was so the Summit, and then the Compact, and then the preacher bought it. Who's the preacher?
Oh, geez. Joel Osteen.
Joel Osteen. And Joel Osteen bought it. So the Summit, and then the Compact, and then Joel Osteen bought it. And I think I've actually been in the Summit. So I was in the Summit and the Compact. And of course, then when Joel Osteen bought it, I wasn't in there. All right. So again, the 11th annual Paisley Park Midwest Party. Going to be in the Midwest again. Anytime Eric Lee's in Atlanta Bliss or somewhere. So again, go check that out. That's going to be in August. And of course, always, we want to thank Prof. Duff for always taking time to show love to the Prince community and helping us show love. And I always say this, hey man, it doesn't matter how much you give. If you give $5, if 1,000 people give $5, that's $5,000. I hope my math right.
Hey man, I gotta pause here.
Okay.
So I'm very shocked to see this, because I haven't talked to Jackie in many years, but she managed a band that I was in called Urban Punk with LaToya London and H2O. I didn't even know she had a
right.
Wow, this is, man, I love y'all. You never know.
Right.
I'm gonna land that there.
No, and I'm glad you put it on. I'm glad you said that. You never know. We never know what people are going through.
Yep.
And that's why we appreciate. Look, check in. I always tell people, check in on all your friends, especially check in on your strong friends. Because a lot of times we take our strong friends for granted. We feel like our strong friends always got the answer. They always do. Now, check in on your friends. And I'm glad that Prof. Duff is using her platform to help us check in on our friends. So again, don't matter how much you got, donate, help out our folk. And I want to come back for a second. Okay, Sister Kim, I get it. You were saying the young folks won't know what a compact is. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Sister Kim. The young folks won't know
Isn't that the makeup thing too?
I was gonna say, y'all check. Do they still make a compact?
Yeah, I would.
So let's go back through. And so also want to shout out to Rich Benson, who lost his wife, Sarah Ann. And again, we want to support Rich Benson and their family, right? Also, Sister Addie Durant, right? They did the Purple Rain adaptation on Clubhouse. So again, we want to check in on people, love on our people. We all know brother Troy Gua, in his battle with cancer. We want to keep loving on him, keep supporting. Same with Dr. Funkenberry out there on the West Coast. We want to love on Dr. Funkenberry because these are people. Everybody who we've highlighted, they have contributed to the Prince family some kind of way, and because they contributed to the Prince family, we want to contribute to them, right? All right. Of course, Brother Dez, love the Brother Dez Dickerson. We want to make sure that we can donate there. And as always, the playlist, man, like I say, man, you know how they say you want to know how the hot dog is made, right? You may not want to know how the hot dog is made. Man, doing this, Prof. Duff, I see how the hot dog is made. Girl, you cooking with grease. You cooking with lard. That's what she cooking. Some of them don't know what lard. Some of them don't know what lard is. She cooking with lard.
True Mississippian talking.
There you go. Yeah. Look, putting together these playlists. So the playlists are always, you can click the link, and so everything that we discuss, you can go listen to. And she has a playlist for Brother Pretty Ricky, Brother Wyatt. Please, if you just want to hear Ricky's voice, you just want to share good times with Ricky, you can check out the playlist. This is probably my favorite Brother Ricky photo because it's with him and his family. And I just love that. And again, we're going to end by showing love. We know we're going through some tough times, and we just want to love on people. And what I always want to say is, hug the people you love and love the people you love. And you never know when you're going to see somebody again. You never know. You never get a second chance. Don't take it. Look, I was at a memorial. I was asked to read a poem for we lost another Mississippi civil rights giant. This guy was so important in my life. And it was always on my mind, Brother Ted and Big Sex was always on my mind. Let me just call in and check in with Mike. Let me just email Mike. Because not only was he a great civil rights lawyer, I got to publish him in my magazine. How cool was that? That one of the people who mentored me, I got to reach back because everybody knew he was a great attorney. He wrote great legal briefs, Big Sexy. He was known for writing these civil rights legal briefs, but he was also a creative writer, and I got to publish that. And one of my regrets is he was always on my mind, and I never, just shot him an email. And then they say, hey, man, Mike is gone. Could you write a poem for him? So love the people you love. Hug on the people you love. I'm going to let Brother Ted give a final word. Then I'm going to let Big Sexy take us out. And Prof. Duff will be back next week. And you will no longer have to worry about C. Lee hitting the wrong button. All right. And I want to also say to everybody in the chat, thank y'all for giving me patience and grace. Y'all know C. Lee didn't know what the hell he was doing. Y'all know C. Lee don't know nothing about no technology. And I just want to thank each and every one of y'all for giving me grace and for just loving me through this thing. I want to thank Big Sexy when the call came out. Hey, Brother C. Lee out there, I ain't going to leave you out there by yourself. And Brother Ted, thank you for jumping in. So Brother Ted, I'm going to let you have the word, and then I'm going to let Big Sexy take us out.
Man, I'm just so grateful that you guys answer the door when I come in. And this is an awesome space, man. I ain't gonna be long-winded, long live Pretty Ricky. And man, I appreciate everybody involved with this family.
You know,
Big Texas.
for me, I'll be brief. I really am flattered to be included here because of the academic standing here. You know, Seeley's published. The professor is the vice provost. Wow, that's heavy. That's heavy. And I like how we all come from different disciplines in academia, but bring the academic, slant to this. I feel very welcome here. I love it here. And thank you, Seeley, for walking me through this, because we got it together, man. We handled it. And I'd like to thank D'Angela for including me in this. And I just thank all the listeners, too, for all the love that they've shown me. Thank you all.
And with that said, we will see.
Oh.
Go ahead.
He ain't here, so I got to say it.
Say it.
Working like a job. Peace.
There we go. And to that, everybody, we'll see y'all next week.